it's my turn. I'm going to share about my research study in Hong Kong, UST. May I introduce myself again? This is Alison. Currently an MPhil student in environmental science, environmental science, policy and management, such as long name. And my undergraduate degree is also done in Hong Kong UST, which is environmental management and technology. I always believe that environmental issue is always beyond single discipline. It needs the cooperation between the government, the corporation, the researchers, and the people. However, the experts always, being two experts, they describe things in expert terms that the layman, the normal people can't understand. That's why my undergraduate degree aimed at training people who can understand science and at the same time able to communicate with others. This is a program which consists of half science and half business. It's a study in breadth. However, upon my graduation, I would like to have a study in depth, since if I want to manage people, I want to do environmental management, I will need to understand those science more before I can manage others. Now I would like to share about what are the things that I inquire throughout my research study. There are several things that I would describe as the skill set that you must master in your research. First, you learn more knowledge. My research focus is on air pollution. Of course, I will need to understand more about air pollutants, their source, the health impact, and the meteorology. For example, how does the meteorology affect the dispersion of those air pollutions? Secondly, I learned how to do data analysis. For example, the in-outdoor relationship of the air pollutions. And I also need to learn the modeling to understand how does the flow of the air pollutants, no matter inside the indoor, like this lecture theater, or the urban environment, which is outdoor environments. And since the data set is being so huge, I also need to learn about programming to do some data manipulation to clean up the data, to filter the data. The third thing I learned is to identify the research questions and be able to give an answer. Since when you have your research study, you see a lot of data, a lot of information, and then you start to get lost. Oh, so many information, where am I? But then you really need to remind yourself your research question and find the answer. I will describe these three are the important skill set you must master in research. However, these three skill set is actually the skill set you must master in life. For example, for the knowledge part, I will describe it as self-learning skill. For the data analysis part, I will describe it as an analytical skill. For identifying research question and be able to provide the answer, it is the problem-solving skill. Let's take a look at the example. For the self-learning skill, when we are young, and we are in the children, we go to school, we learn what the teacher teaches us, right? We only learn these things. But however, when you grow up, you find that there are much more things that is so interesting to know, so useful to know, but there is no way for the teachers to provide you all the course for all the information. And therefore, you need to learn how to learn it by yourself. And through my research study, I start my self-learning. And secondly, about the analytical skill. I'm not just adopting my analytical skill inside the laboratory or just in front of my computer. For example, when I do recording for my singing, I start to analyze how to give better recording. I start to characterize the sound quality, stuff like that. And for a more useful way, although I'm an environmental student, I do online marketing. I start to use my analytical skill to design experiment on Facebook. Like, for example, I set up advertisement on a Facebook. Then I will think about how can I achieve the best outcome for the first advertisement? How can I earn the most thumb up? I can use I developed some experiments being set up on the Facebook and then test which setting is the best. And then for the problem-solving skill, it's very useful, right? When we adopt it in the daily life, what is some life example will be, which is shopping, like information or data on the internet, we get lost from a lot of information. However, consumer products are also everywhere around us. I get lost also. So I need to think about the research question is, what product do I really need? How can I compare the similar product in different brands? What are the selection criteria? This is the problem-solving skill that I adopt in my life. But in a professional settings, I also use problem-solving skills. Since I need to design measurement program in many buildings, like office building, I work closely with the consultants, property management, and those are like normal officer, engineer, or manager. Since there are so many parties I have involved in, all of them have different interests, different agenda, and providing different suggestions. At that time, I may get lost, get confused. They are providing so much information to me. But again, I go back to my research question. What do I really want to find out? What is my goal of this project? Then by the problem-solving skill that I developed by the research study, I will be able to keep the project track in the right way. You may heard from some research students, they always talk about thesis. What is that? This is actually your research topic. The thesis report is the assignment that you need to finish upon if you want to graduate. No matter you want to pursue in MPhil study or the PhD study, each program will only require you to finish one thesis report. Through the process of finishing that thesis report, you will be able to acquire the self-learning skill, the analytical skill, the problem-solving skill, which are actually an important piece of puzzle that you will be able to use for yourself to make yourself step further in your life. Thank you. This is the end of my presentation.